everybody, my name's Rob Nixon. Thank you so much for investing an hour of your time today to listen to experts about cloud technology in your accounting firm and with your clients. So this webinar is a second in a series of Capitalised on the Cloud. Today I'm joined by Mike Chisholm, the CEO of CCH Collaborative Solutions. Mike, are you there?
I am. Thank you, Rob.
Awesome. I'll introduce Mike properly in a moment. Mark Say, the director of a two-partner accounting firm in Melbourne from MKS Harris. Mark, are you there?
Yep, sure am.
Awesome. And Alan Bliss, the partner of a three-partner firm called The Practice in Melbourne as well. So, Alan, are you there also?
Yes, I am, Rob. G'day.
Great. So today, everybody, we're going to have a very interactive day. I have 7 polling questions for you to get involved in as we get a bit of a feel for how you're working with cloud technology, internet-based technology with your firm and with your clients. But just so I can see if you can hear me right now, could you go into the question box before we get going and just put in a little hi from wherever you're from into the question area, tap it in, I'll see those come through. Just make sure you can hear us okay because all your lines are muted. We got, cool, Bryce, Malcolm, welcome along. John, Troy, Troy Townley's here, awesome. Adelaide, Bunbury, Christchurch, we've got people in Christchurch, Lavington, Melbourne, Tim Bunra, hello, Tim. New Zealand, we've got Mooney Ponds, okay, we've got the idea, everyone's here, awesome, so in they come. So we're going to have a very interactive day. Use that question box that you're all punching details into right now. Use that question box to ask any question as we go through, and as we get pauses in the 1 hour, we'll answer those questions. Some of the questions, some of my team may answer directly to you, but any question that comes to mind, don't just wait for when we ask the question, as in question time, just pump in a question when you're ready, and we'll come back to it if we've missed it in that question area that you just did there, right there. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to go through a very interesting agenda, which is going to start with expert views on cloud accounting and its benefits, cloud accounting for the accounting business and cloud for your clients. How accounting firms have implemented cloud for their clients. So we've got 2 firms here. One has 145 clients on cloud accounting, and one has 130 or so. So we're going to hear their views on how they implemented that. We're also going to understand some methods to gain extra fees as a result of accessing cloud data. So this is not just a switch for the accounting firm from a hard drive system to an system. It's not just a switch from your client's hard drive system to an internet system. There needs to be something in it for you as well. How you sell and deliver value-added services, how you can learn how to capitalize this for your clients and your firm. And lastly, stick around right till the end. I'll do a little segment on 12 predictions on the future of the profession. So it's going to be an interactive day. I'll introduce our panelists in a moment, but before we do, I would like to do a little bit of a litmus test, for each one of you to see how you're feeling about this topic, and this topic of cloud computing, cloud solutions, cloud accounting, cloud practice management is the biggest topic in the industry right now. So I've got a couple of questions for you. So a polling question right up front is going to be, is your firm's practice management system on the cloud? We're going to start with your accounting business, and then we're going to go to your client. So it's a simple yes or no. Everyone to participate. If we can run the first poll, please, guys, and just find out where you're at with, actually not in the question box, sorry, John and Glenn, if you can do it in the poll, please. It's running the separate poll, which is running right now. Awesome. So if you just plug it in there. So if we can keep the question box for questions, the polling questions will go in the polls. So what have we got? We've got 22% yes in the cloud, 77% no. So, okay, that's interesting. So we've got 20% have their firm in the cloud right now. 80% do not. Right? So that's cool. Good to see that out of 185 firms responded, we've got sort of 16, 20 of you in the cloud right now. 40 of you in, and some not. So next question is going to be around your current attitude and feelings towards your firm being on the cloud. Not your clients, but your firm. So before we get into the content, just want to get a bit of a litmus test on where you're at right now. So you may not be sure of the benefits of this. You may be keen to explore answer 2, or number 3, you're excited to do it, and it may just be a timing thing. So if you can go ahead and answer where your headspace is right now for your firm. We'll get to your clients in a moment. So where's your headspace at right now? So 80% of you do not have your operating system for your firm on the internet. 20% do. And if we look at this, we've got 20% not sure of the benefits. Okay, cool. 50% keen to explore. 31% excited to do it. So obviously, with that third there, excited to do it, it may be just looking at the right solution for you. It may be a timing matter altogether. So at least we've got an engaged group here that you are engaged in this topic and you want to learn more as our numbers climb to about 200 firms listening in right now. Next question. So close that poll off. We've got enough there as far as info, and we'll get some comments on this from Mike Chisholm in a moment. Next one is when it comes to your clients. So we're going to get a sense later on in the webinar how many clients you've got on cloud accounting. But I'd like your current attitude and feelings towards cloud accounting with your clients, right? So question 1, or answer 1, sorry, is going to be you're concerned about this, maybe confused. Number 2, ambivalent, couldn't care less, curious, or excited by it. So if we can run the next poll as we get a bit of an idea where you're at, everyone to participate. There's no right or wrong answer, and it's also anonymous, so we can't see your answers here. Let's have a look. We've got most of you are excited. This is a good thing. Most of you are curious, which is a good thing. So we've got 70% counted. If we can just punch in a number there, what do we got? So that's probably going to be enough. We've got 5% concerned, 6% confused. I mean, you may be concerned about risk or data transfer or whatever. 6% confused. Should I, shouldn't I? 7% now. Which solution? 8% ambivalent. Interesting. 34% curious, and 46% excited. Awesome. So we've got, Mike, can you see these at your end? You're in Christchurch right now. Can you see those scores or not?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So let's have a talk about all that. Here's my views on this rather interesting change in the landscape of the accounting profession. First of all, when it comes to the method of cloud solutions for your business or your client's business, you can't stop this happening, all right, as much as you may want to. And you may resist for your firm, but you can't stop it happening with your clients. Here's why. You've got social change in place where individuals are wanting data and expecting data and information on their device. Their device could be a computer, it could be a smartphone, it could be a tablet computer of some sort. The social change says, I'm okay to find data on my device. So there's no different. I'd like to find my accounting and other data as well, my management accounting data. Second thing, as far as forces of change here, you have very large software companies and technology companies that are promoting the heck out of this because social change says, I'd like it, but the current product that I may be using may be a hard drive or server-based product, yet we've got this whiz-bang internet-based product, so we're going to promote that. And the technology companies, which are typically large public companies, are promoting this because of social change, because of the way that it is, but also they're doing that to remain relevant themselves. So with that, and if we can go back to my slides, please, Sonia, with that, this is something you can't stop, even if you try to. But the cool thing about it, when you embrace it, when you really promote this, as we'll discover when we talk to Mark and Alan as we go through our hour of power today, when you really embrace it, the benefits to you and your client are significant. Benefits like, I've got access to data anytime, anywhere, and any place. I've got access to information that can help me run a better business. I've got real-time information that the accounting business can actually work with their clients. You're going to hear stories about that. You've got access to information that can actually help me craft out more profit, more cash, make better decisions, and be more efficient in the process as well. So eliminating a lot of human error and letting the supercomputers take over. So I'm excited that when it comes to my last polling question there, current attitudes, when we've got literally 80% of you are curious or excited about what this thing does to you. So there's some opening remarks. You can't stop it. I think you should embrace it. My views, I think this is just going to be a way of the world. And right now, the estimate is about 7% of all small businesses have a cloud accounting solution. And my guess is probably 2 to 3%, and Mike, you may be able to correct me on this, 2 to 3%, maybe 4% of the push of accounting firms have their operating system on the internet. So, Mike, some opening comments from you on your views of the world on this cloud technology thing that's going on in the accounting profession. Take it away, Mike.
Sure, thanks, Rob. I was sort of almost going to add a joke in there saying, look, we're from the land of the long white cloud, so I think there are more firms in New Zealand running cloud accounting as a firm solution than there are in Australia. But in Australia, I think the percentage is still very low, down at the level you were saying, 3 to 4%. If I follow up in terms of my view again, it's actually, I'll follow on from you, Rob, to say that you have to look at it and say, what about cloud solutions for accounting firms, and then cloud solutions for SMEs or accounting firm clients or businesses. So if I first look at accounting firms and talk about the benefits, I was just going to quickly go over and say, look, there's obvious hardware cost savings, or just cost savings in terms of when I talk to firms about what cloud software offers, then there's clear cost savings with hardware and IT costs. And so that's pretty easy to document, and they're obvious. And some firms actually like that because they get proposals from suppliers saying, look, what you need to do is spend, X tens of thousands of dollars on new servers, and this gets rid of that. Second most obvious thing or benefit is being mobile. And so I think that to actually have access, easy access to data, be it on your phone or your iPad, or and be it at a client's premises or at home, wherever you want to be, to have access to your practice data and client data is actually more efficient and more helpful. Those two reasons alone, I would say to firms again, I don't think are big enough to actually make a change. And sometimes in terms of all the firms on this line, I'll introduce myself as saying I worked in an accounting firm for over 10 years. So I sort of have that accountant personality, and I sort of look at it and go, look at solutions and say, if it ain't broke, why do I need to fix it? There are cost savings here, and being mobile is good, but it's not enough. I think the biggest issue is, can you actually write better software in a new generation of cloud software? And I think the answer is yes to that. And we've been showing for years now, I think, a better practice management solution that was designed and built by an accounting firm that got frustrated with all the solutions that were offered by suppliers around a job, workflow, resource, and capacity planning-driven solution. And that solution, if implemented well and worked through, creates efficiency gains, which will fall through to the bottom line.
So, Mike, first of all, Mike, my apologies. I didn't introduce you correctly, and you did just touch on there that you spent 10 years in an accounting firm and you are an accountant. But for everyone listening in, some of you know Mike Chisholm. I've known Mike for about a dozen or 12, 14 years or so, since about 2000. And Mike, over the years, has had about 20-ish years in the software development aspect with accounting firms. Is it 20 years, Mike, in total, or is it more than that?
Well, it's a wee bit more, Rob, but that's okay. 20 will do.
We'll go with 20. A lot. So Mike is coming from a position of, we've been around the block, we've seen what's been going on, and as Ken said on one of the posts here, Mike, there's a tidal wave of change coming at us, and we have to change. What do you see? Sure, got the benefits there, but what do you see as the change that needs to be made other than switching, and what's the outcome for the accounting firm in doing that?
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, there was my third point that I didn't get to, which because really, although I've just outlined you can get better software or better solutions and cost savings and being mobile with solutions for your accounting firm, but really the tidal wave that's coming is that you'll be then connected with cloud accounting packages to your clients. And that's the tidal wave of change. That's where there's huge benefits in there for SMEs or business owners and for the accounting firm, and efficiencies and up-to-date data being there and being able to actually really help businesses. That to me is the tidal wave.
So Mike, that's all good for access to data, which I think is a real critical thing where the accountant's got access to data via the client solution. Yes. What are you seeing that is doing to standard compliance work? Right.
Well, it's helping commoditize that work, and sometimes I'm going to say again, I get a little frustrated because I think some suppliers are actually helping suppliers to accounting firms are helping commoditize the very service that accounting firms make their living from. Now, and as much as I'll say I get frustrated there because I think that I try and differentiate CCH as an accounting firm-centric supplier, and we're not trying to sell business software there, the reality is that the annual accounting will continue to be commoditized, and so accounting firms have to get an awful lot more efficient at managing that service, and then work through value-added opportunities to help the business and actually make them money.
So by the sound of that, Mike, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of summarising. No, that's fair. That's actually. But I don't think you don't need to be damned.
Well, that's right. I think an accounting firm can win with this, but if you don't do something about it, social change says I want it, technology company says, well, here it is at a low cost, marketplace says I'll buy that, the knock-on effect is that compliance gets commoditized. So you think, well, I'll try and stop it, but you can't stop it. So you might as well just embrace it and then take the flip side, which is what you're talking about. We've now got real access to data rather than quote-unquote dodgy data coming 12, 16 months late to actually do something about it. So to me, that's the big benefit with this.
Yes, I agree.
So thank you, Mike. Any other comments from you before we go to our two illustrious partner firms here?
No, I'm setting up, and I'll button as we go along.
Awesome. So let me introduce Mark Sade. I've known Mark for a couple of years now, 2.5 years. Mark is a partner of a two-partner firm. Mark, we had a quick chat before this. Has really embraced this with his firm and also with his clients. Mark, give us a quick summary on the last 2 years, what you've been able to do with this whole cloud topic with your firm and with your clients. Take it away, Mark. So Mark is the third one in the line there. Mark Stade, the good-looking bloke from MKS Harris.
Thanks, Rob. Just following on from Mike's comments, I mean, the cloud for us was something quite new. And when we first met Rob a couple of years ago at a conference up at Hamilton Island, we were introduced to someone who said, you can put our practice into the cloud. And I thought, okay, let's go with this guy. And it was all about moving our servers across. And at that time, I'm not sure I was ready to release control of everything that my business ran on, being our beloved servers in our back room with the air conditioning and the platforms and everything else. I wasn't prepared to release that into the control of somebody who I didn't know. But now all that's changed. Everything, we learned about the cloud, we did our investigations, and we were introduced to the likes of Xero for our client accounting, and we're introduced to CCH and iFirm for our practice management. And let me tell you, it was probably the absolute best thing that we've ever done, is learning about it and embracing it. Now, by embracing it, I mean not just by saying, well, okay, our practice management system is now being run in the cloud, but it's getting the whole team on board and learning about what the cloud really means and the benefits that it can actually bring forward. Now, for us, it was a cost saving. From our existing service provider, who I don't really need to name, we were spending just under $50,000 a year for all of our software. We dropped that down to iFirm for about $6,000 to $7,000 a year. Now that's a remarkable cost savings despite the upfront fee that we had to pay for the software, which again still made it the payback period in less than 12 months. We gained a lot of efficiencies from that. We went from a client-based measurable to a job-based measurable, so we're assessing the profitability of every job, not just on every client, so we can work on improvements where we need to. And putting clients onto zero help with our efficiencies. And yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's just been a remarkable journey, one that I'd recommend for anyone to take up if they haven't even thought about it. The access to data, the mobility, working anywhere, anytime on any device, being able to have client portals, and really, as Mike mentioned earlier, just getting ready for the change. There's going to be a wave of changes come through into the profession, and unless you're going to get on the bus, you may as well retire.
So, Mark, awesome there. When I first met you a couple of years ago, you told me some numbers that you had lockup, WIP and debtors combined, of a big number. It was over 200 days. And I think you said your WIP alone was 140 days.
Correct.
As a result of implementing some better workflow systems and some better technology systems, where have you moved that to now?
WIP days currently are sitting at 4 days.
So that is not 40, that's not 100?
No, 4, number 4, the one that comes after number 3, less than 5.
And so, because a lot of people say, okay, why should I do it, right? Yes, you've got some cost savings, awesome, you save 40 grand a year in costs, but also that process of workflow would have given you better customer service, better cash flow as well.
Absolutely. These cloud-based systems, unlike the desktop software that we had, has allowed for a lot more innovation to take place within the business. So we can now have all these different parameters and prompts and flags that we put on our client database to let us know when certain events or things are going to happen. So if we see somebody might be spending, if they've reached 100% of the time allocated to them, the partner can get an email. Now I can set it to give me an email at 80%, at 60%, at 102%. I can set the system to do whatever I want it to do. So I've got a lot more control over time that's actually spent on the job, and therefore if there's anything that's going to go drastically wrong, it's going to be identified or raised before it actually gets too big an issue. So if I've got to raise something with the client to perhaps revise the fee, I get a trigger and an alert to tell me about that well and truly before it's too late.
So from the firm's point of view, since you've implemented this, you're running a better business, more profit, more cash availability, better throughput, it's all good. Let's talk about the clients, Mark. You've also been on a journey of getting your clients converted across to a cloud accounting solution of some sort. How many clients in total does your firm, like business client groups, does your firm have?
Business client groups are about 300. About
300? And so
300, yeah.
We've sort of got your audio on and off here for a minute, Mark. What I might get you to do, Mark, by the way, is when we finish this little bit, get you to actually dial in, not use your headset thing there.
Sure.
And Alan, I'm not too sure how yours is going to go, but we'll just play by ear. So, gotta love the internet. So the last 2 years, I know you've been active in helping your clients to switch from a hard drive accounting system to a cloud system. How many of you switched over so far?
We've done over 140 so far, Rob.
Okay. So you've got 250 business client groups, 140 have switched over, which is what's that, about 60% or thereabouts.
Yep.
Has that, talk about the process, like they've already had an accounting system, they're already an established business, and you've said, no, you've got to switch to this. What's been the process of how you've done that?
It's been, we've run a couple of in-house boardroom briefings, so lunch seminars. We've ran a couple of zero events where we've just gone off to, some say that we call it the local clock tower, which is a function centre, and we've had 100 people there, and we've just sort of showed them the software, showed them what it can do, and effectively at the end of the day it lined them up and did the conversions. But we've been talking to a lot of clients, we've been showing them the benefits, and for them even the cost savings, because cloud systems have got a lot of functionality. And look, we do predominantly Xero. We've got the automatic bank feeds that can happen, which save clients a lot of time and gives us and them real-time information. We're talking about the single.
Just on that,
Sorry.
Mark, Michael has just asked an excellent question, which is, why did you switch them? You've actively promoted to your clients, you said you should switch from whatever hard drive software you use into this internet software, right? And so there had to be a good reason to that, because that's all change. What were the key benefits or the key selling messages you told your clients as to why they should switch?
Okay, for efficiencies was the first and foremost, and efficiencies not just in terms of time but also in terms of frustration. I'm not sure about how many other accountants there share the same frustration about emailing MYOB or QuickBooks or cash flow files across the line, and every year these files get exponentially bigger, and then you get the file, you're working on it, the client's still working away, you've got to send them an alignment journal, or you've got to go there and process a journal, or tell them to delete their old file and upload the new one that you sent them. A lot of work, a lot of mucking around that happens after the year-end job has been completed, whereas you put them onto a cloud system like Xero, we eliminate the need to email files to each other. We all have access to the same data. We are all looking at the same information, and it's online, it's real time. And it gives us the ability to produce more meaningful, timely reports rather than reports that could be quite old.
And Mark, that's the standard thing, and certainly the clients get juiced up by that. And Xero's not the only game in town. You've got Account Right Live, you've got iBiz, there's a whole range of them out there. Interested to know, in relation to what you've seen at the firm's end in relation to efficiency of doing the work when the client is on a cloud accounting system.
Okay, so we've been able to, firstly we've taught and educated our clients to use the Xero system, and they're all finding it, and to be quite honest, a lot of them say it's extremely addictive. So what we're finding is that they are happy to get in there and do their reconciliations, or to answer our questions, or even get online and look at reports with us. So we might publish some reports for them to have a look at. They'll give us a call, or they'll come in and we'll talk about them. We've also got the ability to produce some additional management reports with, thanks to the add-on products such as Fathom and Xero. We can produce some beautiful reports to show the clients which they've never ever seen before, and they're actually very meaningful. There's a lot of meaningful information that we can actually give the clients now that we haven't been able to give them in the past.
So I know, Mark, the last couple of years since you've been working with us as well, we've provided you with some methodology content, if you will, on value-added services, delivering value-added services. And I know you've been using some of that in conjunction with the technology, because it's not just about the technology, it's about the methodology as well. What have you actually done as far as additional, and revenue figure, additional value-added services since your clients have been switching over to cloud accounting systems?
You could almost put a dollar figure of around about, say, on average, between $3,000 and $5,000 per client of additional revenue that you could generate from them with value-added services. We've got clients that we're doing budgeting for. The system actually has a fantastic budgeting, budget reporting system built into it, and so does your Panalytics system, Rob, and the Spotlights and the Fathoms. They've all got that, and some clients have never had budgets. They've never even thought about having them, whereas now they've got more time to devote to looking at their business going forward, and so have we, and we're just generating additional revenue, not just by way of preparing budgets, but by doing management consulting with them. We're also doing a lot of planning days, which also involves doing some budgets for them. Everything is looking into the future rather than the past, and that's what clients are loving.
And I think that's the big thing, that, instead of saying, oh, why didn't you do that, 18 months prior, when you're looking at a set of accounts, now you've got real-time data, you can plan, you can monitor, you can cash flow, you can budget. We've got a whole string of questions coming through, Mark, which I'm not going to get to them all, so I am, please be patient with me, everyone. I'm grabbing the key ones that sort of fit at the time. One more point, Mark, you've also now, because of this, have been able to work with your resource base in another country. Talk to us about that.
Sure. Only in the past 2 weeks we've had people employed in the Philippines. So we've got 2 people there. I was up there on the, I think I arrived on the 28th of January, and our first person, Therese, started on that day. And I was there to pretty much do a handover. And originally I was handing over our practice administration, so our own zero accounting file. Discovered how efficient the operations are up there and how efficient she is, and she's now doing a lot more work than just our own practice. Whilst I was there, I also employed somebody to look after our internet and do some search engine optimization and some digital marketing. So I've got a half-time person that I share with somebody else. So it's 2 people or 1.5 people that we've got employed overseas, and our plan is to grow that quite significantly by the end of June, and again over the next, say, 12 to 18 months.
And how do the clients feel about that so far? I know it's a new strategy for you.
Yeah,
and you did tell me you're going to grow to about 7 or so people. How are the clients feeling about it so far?
Yeah, the ones we've spoken to where we've actually sent their work over there have all been quite accepting of it, understand that it's a challenge that we're facing, and that it's change, and that we are embracing change, and providing that they get the service that they're accustomed to receiving. None of them have had any problems with it.
Awesome. And so you're basically being upfront and disclosing that to the clients.
Yep,
sound of it.
Absolutely.
Mark, I know you offered last year when I spoke to you that you'd like to speak at my upcoming seminar tour, so I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to do that, because I think you're going to be a bit of a hot topic in the Melbourne and Geelong event coming up. Because I've got a dozen questions here which we can't get to at the moment.
That's all right. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's move on. Thank you, Mark. Awesome. You've got a business there that's humming. You've sorted out workflow matters by putting cloud for the firm. You've got 140 plus clients on cloud. You've generated $300,000 to $400,000 in revenue so far through value-added services, and you're looking at your resource-based strategy-wise going offshore as well. So awesome stuff going on. I'm going to flip over to Alan, just in the fullness of time. We've got half an hour to go. Alan, you're a partner in a 3-partner firm. You've got, I think you told me that day, you've got 38 people, and you converted the firm across to cloud practice management a couple of years ago. Tell us about your journey, Alan. Give us a summary of where you're at.
Pleasure, Rob. From our point of view, we were looking for a solution where we could actually run our 3 businesses. We're a multifaceted organisation in terms of we provide finance as well as wealth management inside of the business. We run those across 3 different business units. So from our point of view, we were looking for a solution where we could basically run a single database as much as possible, other than those that you require for regulation to deliver some of the goods. So we could understand our clients better, and certainly from a dashboard and a management and a partner point of view, we get a more of an instantaneous review of where we're at for a firm. So we looked at the firm product, and a big driver for us was, to be perfectly blunt, not so much about it being in the cloud, but it was about new thoughts and new approaches. So the cloud was for us really quite a bonus, and it was about someone taking a fresh look about how we go about dealing with accounting firms. So that was the driver as to why we ended up going there, and we've certainly seen some significant improvements coming out of the firm as a consequence of that change.
So you've got all 38 people, Alan, switched over now on the operating system?
Correct. So we run independent jobs depending upon which part of the firm will engage with clients. So we can actually see, when we look at a client, we can see that we've got a loan review underway, or we're actually doing a statement of advice in respect to financial planning, or we might be doing their year-end compliance work. So we can see that instantly when we look at a client, so we can understand what our relationship is with a client. And the managers are then able to understand about what work they've got on the go. And one of the big pushes for us was also about resource allocation, knowing about how many hours people had locked up ahead of them over the coming weeks and coming months, and then providing a sense of priority to our team members about job ordering and providing people with a little bit of a bit of guidance about what our expectations are when they need to be doing some work. And that solution was pretty well delivered for us.
And so that's for workflow. The question we get a lot, we've had a few questions around this regarding tax. And from what I understand, none of the cloud practice management systems have a cloud tax system yet. What have you done for tax, Alan, in your firm?
At the moment, we've been straddling the fence. We've been using our old provider, and we know we have to change this year because it's just not an option. So we're looking pretty hard at the CCH product about what solution they're able to deliver for us. So at the moment, we're sort of caught in between. We knew that was going to be a problem, but by the same token, I don't think it's worked out that badly because there was always a sense of comfort from our team that we still had an existing tax product, we had an existing GL product that we could use to ensure the work kept going. And so during the transition from our practice management across into the cloud for all of our client accounting, over and above what we do for Xero, it's actually provided some consistency there if we needed it, but certainly we were able to move across. So now, as we're sitting here with basically 5 months to sort our tax position, practice management's sorted out pretty well, our WIP and debt is working nicely for us, our reporting is going great, our job allocation's going great, sorted out how we're trying to cut and dice our clients reasonably well. So we're only now having to deal with one area of change. You'd appreciate it from us. 38. Change is a constant in life, and I think we need to manage that as best we can because it's all well and good having all of these new ideas and new toys out there. But at the end of the day, we still need to make sure the jobs get done. We still need to make sure we can bring people along for the ride. And so I've not been happy. It's been a little bit more of an expensive exercise, but it's given everyone a sense of comfort. I don't think there's much change overall.
So, Alan, a couple of questions regarding speed and efficiency, and see if you can wrap a number around this for measurable. You're running 38 people, and maybe the measure is has the revenue per person increased by what to what, just roughly, and what about any throughputs? Because at the end of the day, changing systems needs to have some tangible benefit as well. What can you wrap around that could be a tangible metric around this?
Well, certainly in terms of jobs being completed, I think our WIP days are most probably, they were always reasonably good. They were floating around about less than 30. Our WIP would traditionally now sit around 17 days. So certainly I think we've got better throughput of work. Because we actually manage the jobs better, I would see that as being improved by about 25%. I think people are a little bit more aware of what jobs they've got ahead of them, so that's actually turning around a lot quicker. From a performance point of view, in terms of the firm, the last 2 years we've been 8% compounding growth for the last 2 years. And
so,
I'd say that to the efficiency, and on top of that, we've dealt with a new set of systems, so I don't think we've done too badly.
Alan, we're getting a bit of break-up on sound there. So can you just go back to answering the performance question, because we missed the answer on that.
Performance is improved, I would think, the best part of 20%. Mm-hmm. And we've actually seen as a firm an 18% compound growth for the last 2 years on the back of actually implementing new software.
Wow, okay. So, cool. So basically we're growing our revenue without growing our cost base by 18% a year.
Correct.
And happy days to that. Let's talk about the clients. You've not only done your firm, but you've also switched a bunch of your clients. So similar questions asked Mark. How many total clients has the firm got, like business groups have you got?
We'd have about 380.
380, and so how many have you converted, and in what time frame to, because I know you're using a multiple of solutions, How many have you converted in what time frame to a cloud accounting solution?
We convert on
Alan, we missed all of that. Sorry. Tell you what we're going to do, Alan, if you can stop, Alan. What I'd like you to do, Alan, is I'll keep going. I've got some polling questions coming up, and also what we may do is we spend a bit of time after 1:30 to answer some of the questions that we haven't been able to get to as well. But Alan and Mark, whilst I'm going through these polling questions, could you actually dial in on a regular phone, please, because we've got some connection issues. And this sometimes happens, team, when we're connecting 4 locations to this webinar. We've got Christchurch, we've got 2 in Victoria, and we've got Brisbane as well. So if you guys could do that, and then we'll come back and we'll answer some more questions, and then keep on going, because I still want to get to the bottom of that, please, Alan. Thanks, guys. So I want to ask a couple of polling questions, team, of you in relation to your client base, because we've got the accounting firm operating in whatever system you're on, right? 20% of you have a cloud-based solution for your firm now, 80% don't. Maybe you're on this webinar to check out the CCH product. Up to you, you should have a look at it. But let's talk about your clients. We've got 2 firms here that have got 40, 50, 60% of their clients have been converted across to cloud accounting. First question I have for you in this poll is how many business client groups do you have? Less than 75, 76 to 150, 151 to 300, 301 to 500, or 500 plus. So if we could run the poll, please, Sonia, just to get a bit of see where you're at in relation to usage of cloud accounting. So how many business client groups total do you have, not on cloud, but just in general for you? If you could all just make a guess, just an educated guess, so we're going to have a litmus test. And Mike, just while we're waiting for the guys to come back in, I'll get some comments from you in a moment as well. Size-wise, we seem to have, what do we got? So 38% less than 75, so some smaller firms on. 20% 76 to 150. 25% 151 to 300. We've got 9%, so 301 to 500, and 9% 500 plus. So we've got a spread of firms on the line right now. If we can just close that poll off, and let's have a look at the next question, which is going to be, so with what you've been doing in this space, what percentage of your total business client group client base are using cloud accounting? Less than 3, 3 to 7, 7 to 12, 12 to 20, or 20% plus. If we could have a look at where you're at with that. We've certainly got some active groups there. Where you're at in relation to this implementation. All right, Mark's back on phone, which is good. And
yeah, I'm good.
Oh, good. Good as well, Al. Thank you. So we've got 13%, sort of 20% plus, 9%, 12 to 20%, 10%, 7 to 12, 19%, 3 to 7, and 49% less than 3. So we've got 70%, call it, less than 7%. Where, Alan, the question I was asking before you popped off was, so what percentage of, how many clients have you got on cloud accounting right now?
On cloud accounting, we've got about 139 clients on Xero. That would represent perhaps 50 or 60 client groups. Mm-hmm. And that would be around about 20% of all of our clients.
And you've got some on MYOB and SASU as well?
Yeah, we do. We have QuickBooks, MYOB, and I must admit I've taken a little bit of a mentality approach that if it ain't broken, there's not a compelling case to change. But in terms of new clients, and certainly those who are willing to change, the Xero change hasn't been very hard to sell at all.
Okay, so you've got a good third of your client base, if I've got my numbers right there, have switched across to a cloud solution. With that, have you been actively promoting that, or has that just happened? Have you done that, Alan?
Yeah, no, we've approached it quite targeted in terms of looking at our clients. We've run, similar to Mark, a number of boardroom sessions. We've also run a couple of Xero-based presentations, which have resulted in a reasonably good take-up amongst our clients. So that, and certainly amongst our newsletters and our regular communications with clients.
So with that, what have you generated in extra business in value-added services on top of that? What's the number there?
Look, I'd think we're most probably generating in excess of $200,000 a year in extra fees. And some of that has been directly attributable to going to the cloud, because what we've been able to do is, for some of our new clients who are looking for greater involvement for their accountant, it's been a great opportunity to actually provide more timely reports, timely information. We've got one of our partners who is very heavily involved on a quarterly basis with boardroom meetings and updates with the key management of a number of our clients. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without a cloud-based solution where you could get timely and very up-to-date information.
So with that, what about the internal efficiencies? The same question I was asking Mark. The clients are on a cloud system. How more efficient is the firm with that client?
Oh, enormously. We're in a position, at the start of the quarter, 2 days in, you're able to, well, you can effectively do it the next day. You're able to access the client's affairs, be well aware of it. Any of the quarterly information we're doing for clients it's getting completed significantly earlier in the cycle than what it was in the past. Instead of waiting for clients to provide you with information and the never-ending array of phone calls and emails going backwards and forwards, we're able to access that data immediately, identify any issues straight away, and the work is done in at least half the time, and certainly significantly earlier in the time frame than what we had in the past. We're just not pushing the envelope of lodgement periods and the like, subject to clients coming back to you, of course. It's significant improvement.
Wow. Question from Lisa. Do Mark and Allen's firms now use the client's cloud-based solution for financial statements preparation, or do they still transfer it back into their own cloud-based practice management system? So where are you at with that one, Alan?
We do a little bit of both. We're a little bit half pregnant in that place, to be honest. For some of our clients, we're actually just producing them straight out of Xero, and that's working fine for us. For other clients, we've converted them across into the iFirm. It's just a little bit of horses for courses in terms of what's going to produce the best result and a timing result. I've been more than happy with the quality of the iFirm GL. It looks sensational. A little bit of extra work in terms of getting it there, but that's very close to being a far more seamless approach than what it currently is. The Xero reporting is easy. I just think it's a little bit simple in some aspects. I know that some people will beg to differ, but I'm not as enthusiastic with it. But certainly in terms of management reports, getting the stuff out easy, it's easy to produce, easy to do. So we'd be most probably allowed about 50-50, I think, in that space.
What about the size of the? What about the size, Alan? The size of the clients that are switching across to a cloud solution? Are they micro? Are they small, medium, large businesses? What are they?
Yeah, look, we've most probably seen small to medium. Certainly some of our larger clients have already got existing big solutions, so some of those it hasn't been anywhere near as easy to go about doing, so those haven't been looked at. Where we've found some big improvements with going across to Xero, things like payroll, I think sensational. Some of the features inside of Xero with superannuation payments save enormously in terms of work on a regular basis. That's been very easy to take up. The other thing which we're doing with a number of clients, and even with our own firm, is we use the Spotlight reporting, which is an add-on for Xero, which has been a great way of consolidating it. And as a firm, we run multiple Xero files. We actually produce a consolidated set of information for ourselves, and we've found that to be sensational. And we converted our business, and we'll do in excess of $6 million as a group. So it's been very good from our point of view.
Awesome. And when it comes to promotion, are the clients pushing you, or are you pushing it?
A little bit of both. I think some clients certainly come and ask you about it because they've heard about it, and but other clients we're actually providing to them as a solution. I think the biggest thing, and Xero's obviously got extensive marketing they're doing at the moment about beautiful accounting. I think there's still a little bit of barroom advice out there, and I know that's a very crass term. People need to have a sense of comfort about where they're going and how they're going to get the advice. So I think wrongly, I think a number of clients still don't always talk to their accountants all the time about these sort of things, and then we're left to clean up the mess. But from our point of view, when we sit down, talk to a client, present to them the benefits, our conversion's been very strong when you get an opportunity to have a chat to clients and get them engaged with it. The beauty about this is I think a lot of this is quite different, and with that I think that there is without a doubt an air of excitement and interest amongst clients, and as much as you can say in an accounting concept. But that's good. I think people do need to get engaged. They do need to take control, and if they can do things on a regular basis and get a little bit more involved with what happens, I think the outcome is significantly better for everyone involved.
And who would have thought, guys, that clients get excited about accounting at last?
Yes, exactly.
Let me show you something really quick that, and I'll get some feedback from those. And if it's okay with Alan, Mike, and Mark, we'll stick around for sort of 5 or 10 minutes afterwards to answer some more questions, because there's questions flying left, right, and centre here that we are answering as many as we can. But often this topic raises more questions as well, detailed ones. So just give you a quick look at this as far as what's coming in the next couple of weeks, which has solved a problem. I'm interested to get your feedback, those that are online right now. So with all the cloud accounting products out there, our belief is that one accounting firm won't just have one, they'll have multiple. And they may have more of one or more than another, but they'll have multiple. So what do we do with that data? So we've actually built an application called Panalytics. Mark mentioned it briefly before, which consolidates that data and pushes that data straight to you. You don't have to go and dig for it. It actually pushes it straight in to your device, your iPad, your laptop, your smartphone, whatever it is. So what you end up with is a graphical view of the world in a dashboard, a traffic light dashboard, so you can see the heartbeat of your clients. So one of the things when it comes to cloud accounting on its own actually takes the power away from the accountant, insofar as if you're not interacting with your clients with the software application they've got more data, more information, so the power is away from you. Putting this bridge in the middle brings the power back to the accountant. So you've got real-time data that you can dig in. So for example, we've selected 7 KPIs per standard business. It'll dig into the cloud solution, feed back, consolidate the data from whatever solution it is, and will alert you as to what's going on. So if sales are up, sales are down, cash is up, cash is down, etc. And you'll set the parameters. I want feeds from this daily, weekly, or monthly for the client, and it'll feed straight through. And then you can make some actions on it to say, well, okay, what do I do with that? So I've got red lights all over the place. I need to set up a meeting straight away to see what's going on. Or you may want to dig in a bit deeper before you create an action and dig into 3 areas. One is on the red alerts that'll come up and say, okay, this is what the alert is, and here's the advice that you would give. So we're going to push advice to your desktop that you'll see that your intermediates and seniors can actually deliver to your clients on this is what we do about it. Give ratio analysis, etc., and also give more detail on the financial summary. So pretty cool. This is actually existing with what's going on in the profession right now, this proliferation of cloud accounting systems. We're saying, okay, that's great, and we've definitely got benefits by doing that right now, but at the end of the day, how can you capitalize that? How can you make a difference by having access to the data, making easier access to the data real time? And so whether that be coming through this device or that device, actually having that data fly through to you and to make a significant difference is what it's all about. So pretty cool. So give me some feedback, those that are in the online here, 200 plus of you. Thoughts on this? Give me a wow or whatever you think is pretty cool. And whatever comes through, I don't really care. But it'd be nice to know if you think it's a good thing. Great, thank you, Ram. Alan, you've not seen that. Mark, I've spoken to you about that before. Alan, what's your thoughts on something like that?
Oh, I think it's sensational. I think it looks very good. I think the idea of actually pushing the data out is good. You're not reliant on people having to go and open up the file and have a look at it. Certainly from an internal point of view, we've got a significant number of files there. That would become certainly a bit of a challenge, to be perfectly honest. Certainly to do it on a daily basis. I think it's a great opportunity.
Mark, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. We'd need to be able to see that information at our fingertips and have it, accessible anytime, anywhere, on any device. Because that's what the market's demanding.
And that's what it's all about.
And that's what it's all about.
and not $30 and $40 per client for this. Literally $1, $2 per client, which is pretty cool. So reducing the cost of the data, but in the day, getting you to react to what's going on close to real time, depending on the client situation. So that's pretty cool. So before we get to wrap up with some more questions, I've got a couple more questions of you. First of all, what is holding you back? You've heard a couple of firms here, heard Mike's views, my views. What's holding you back on assertively promoting cloud solutions to your clients? Maybe you need more knowledge. And looking by the questions coming through, there might be need more knowledge. Need more skills and training. You need to get the team engaged, need to understand the tools, or all of the above. If we can run the poll on that, so because at the end of the day, the clients will ask for this, but as you said, Alan, we don't want the barroom talk. We actually want to get on the front foot here. I think this is an opportunity where you can really help your clients, but where are you at with it? In your head, those that are listening in, do you need more knowledge? Do you need more skills training? Do you need to get the team engaged? You need to understand the tools. There's lots of them out there, the right tools for the right client. Which one do you pick for your firm? Which one do you pick for your client? Or all of the above? We've got 67% all the above so far, all right? So, 17% need to understand the tools, 11% need to get the team engaged, 12%, yeah, getting the team engaged is important, more skills training, more knowledge without a doubt. And yeah, thank you, Peter, I agree with that because of the note before as well, we need the NBN in our area as well. Definitely going to happen at some point in time if you believe that. But there are also solutions that will actually work on slower broadband as well. You don't have to wait for the NBN. So you need to look closely at what's right for you. So looking at, there's more needed around this topic, and that's why, team, we've created a seminar tool to help address the issue of we need more help with this. We need more how-to. We need more information. So running a seminar with Mike Chisholm will be there. We'll have accountants there at every single one. It's an all-day program. It's around the country, 14 cities. I'm going to speak and facilitate. We have 2 accountants per event, so 14 cities who've already implemented cloud solutions in their firm and their clients. Video interviews. Interesting, I videoed these last week in the Philippines. So I videoed 3 accounting firms last Wednesday as to what they're doing with their firms in Australia. Fascinating stuff. We have the vendors speak as well, so you can get clear on what you've actually got to do here. Question and answers all day, and of course some networking drinks at the end. Now the agenda is all about the how-to. What changes are happening to compliance, why you must take a front foot approach on this, the positive impact cloud can have on your firm, the positive impact cloud accounting have on your clients, an independence view on which solutions to choose. So we are the independents with this. We are vendor agnostic. How to implement this in your firm, how to discover new value-added opportunities, how to implement cloud accounting with your clients, how to add value to your clients using cloud accounting, how to have your clients buy additional services, as both Mark and Alan have said, how to price new services based on value-based fees, the threats associated with the offshoring and outsourcing, and how to use that to your advantage. Mark's already started that and many others are doing that as well. So big practical Q&A how-to session on how do we do all this, right? Coming to a city near you, no matter where you are, starts in 4 weeks, March 17 right through to Auckland on April 16. I'll be at every single one of them, as will our sponsors of Accountants Insurance, CCH, MYB, SMS of Advice, Smart, Accounts Receivable, and Feelink. It's going to be awesome. And what we thought we'd do is actually give you a seminar price. Thank you, Manish. We've got 2 attending from you already, which is awesome. Seminar price is $97. Because you're on this webinar, by 5 p.m. tomorrow, we've priced this to bring your team. We've already got hundreds booked in right now. It starts in 4 weeks, $97 per person for an all-day event. We'll even feed you with that as well. Use the promo code FUTURE when you go to cloudseminar.com.au. So that's happening. Make sure you register for that. Now, my final polling question before I get to my 12 predictions is, because we need to wrap a benefit around this, and let's do it on dollars. If you had the people, the knowledge, the tools, the skills, etc., how much revenue do you think you could generate as a result of implementing this with your firm, with your clients? So less than $100,000 a year, 100 to 250, 250 to 500, 500 to a mil, or a mil plus. And this includes, so to answer the poll please, this includes the direct efficiencies in your firm and the value-added services that you can pick up from working with your clients as well. Every firm's going to be different, but there's got to be a tangible reason why you would do this, although, as I said at the outset, you can't really stop it actually happening. Just plug a number. You know, some larger firms are saying already 3% saying $1 million plus, 6% 500,000 to a mil, 9% 250 to 500, and 39% 100 to 250, 41% less than 100,000. Hopefully, this has helped you to actually get clearer on why you should do this. Now, I know there's a lot of details still to go. My 12 predictions around all of this. Number one, compliance will be commoditized, right? It's happening right now. I believe cloud technology for SMEs will be prevalent in around 90% over the next few years. Cloud for accountants, around 90% in the next few years. Hard to determine exactly when, but it's just the way that it's going. Coaches will continue to take clients and consultants because they too have access to this data. Clients more transient, you know, so the clients can actually move a lot easier, but it's being closer to the client, using the sort of tools that we'll provide to you, and value-added services which will keep them. Number 6, offshore more prevalent. You know, it's a growing trend, and it's a grey area for a lot of firms. Compliance price, I think it's going to come down by about 50%. You know, as a result of this, because the clients are savvy to say, hang on a minute, that sounds like a lot for what we're actually getting. Marketing and sales skills. You know, Mark spoke about it, where we run seminars and workshops and boardroom briefings. We need some marketing and sales skills within the firms. Young people are not going to buy into staid and boring. They're going to want, you know, a bit more enjoyment, technology-savvy firms. Number 10, no more time-based billing is going to happen as a result. This is my wish and hope. Number 11, value-added services will eclipse, instead of 80% now compliance, I think over the coming years it's going to flip around, where value-added services, because compliance is commoditized, will be the most revenue in an accounting business. And lastly, this is the end result of all this, the clients are finally and properly serviced by the accounting firm with what you know how to improve their condition in cash flow and budget and planning, whatever it is. Instead of just reacting, we're going to be proactive. So lots of cool things going on. Thank you so much for attending. We are going to leave the lines open a little bit for answer some more questions. So for the seminar, $97 per person, as I said before, 5 p.m. Some of you already registered. That closes off 5 p.m. tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow being tomorrow, whatever day it is, Tuesday, Wednesday. And go to cloudseminar.com.au and make sure you use that code FUTURE to get that. Register for a seminar, bring your team. So back to our panelists. Thank you for all that. Back to our panelists. First of all, Mike, closing remarks from you.
Okay. Well, I suppose I'll close by saying I think there's a really big opportunity for collaborative accounting. Accounting firms will need to adopt cloud accounting, and so I'm looking forward to showing what we have to offer CCH at your roadshows. I think sometimes CCH is Australia's best kept secret, and we ran out of some time today for me to actually talk about what we are offering in our approach with the client or solution, because we have a really neat solution with iBiz that's accountant-centric and a real price breakthrough. I just want to quickly say that I think anywhere between 20 and 40% of SMEs, micro and small business owners, don't want anything to do with accounting at all and want their accountant to do it, and the accountant should be doing that. And we've got a really neat solution for that I'm wanting to show at your roadshows. So we've got some big announcements there that I will be doing then.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the roadshow.
Yeah. And so one last thing also that I think is a defining difference for CCH. We don't have it all together yet, but I believe in its future, and that is that content and software should be presented as a single solution. And at the end of the day, when sometimes I say to accountants, what are you really selling? Then, and you know, like I said, I worked in this for years of my life, then you sell knowledge. And actually, CCH is a knowledge company and they're a software business. And if we put those two things together really well, then I think we offer accounting firms a big helping hand in them being able to help their clients, but also in actually taking up some of the slack in terms of you saying, hey, annual accounting will be commoditised. So I think that's really worth looking at, and I don't think accounting firms want to become geeks and learn about APIs and add-ins and a whole lot of this sort of stuff. Some do, but most don't. And because they sell knowledge, that's what they get paid for, and I want to put those two things together like it's never been done before, and we'll show some of that at your roadshows.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Looking forward to having you. I've got a question from Mark Sade. Mark, I've got a few questions in relation to client resistance. You've been promoting this quite heavily to your clients, by the sound of it a little bit more than Alan. So a couple of questions regarding how have clients objected to this, or not at all, in relation to any commissions you receive. Are you passing those on? You're disclosing those? The general, I suppose, the general conversation with the client as to them switching. Give us some war stories around that, Mark.
Okay. Look, it's quite simple. When we show the client the efficiencies and the simplicity of the system and how user-friendly it is, I'd have to say that the resistance has been minimal. We give the clients a quick demo, we show them how simple things are to work, and 9 times out of 10, it's a decision made on the spot. I've had a couple of cases where I've actually discussed it over the phone with clients without even giving them a demo, and they've said, just do it and come and show it to me when it's finished. So that's worked quite nicely. I think the next question, Rob, was about commissions. Yep. It's not really commissions. The published price on Xero's website is, say, for example, $40, and I think the different levels of Xero status, whether you're bronze, silver, or gold, or platinum, or whatever Qantas levels they offer, come with a different level of rebate. Now, it's effectively that we pay Xero the net price and the client pays us the gross. In most cases, we tell the client that. I don't actively go out there and disclose it, simply because Xero actually show the price on screen, and they actually, if the client went to Xero directly, they would also pay the same price that they pay us. So for us, I think Xero are just doing it as a comeback, so it comes back as passive income, effectively. And those that we're told don't have any issue with it.
So by the sound of that, Mark, there's not much resistance to this whole conversation.
There isn't any at all. I've probably got, I've had to think of all the, I don't know, maybe we've deleted 2 files over the last 2 years of clients that were set up on Xero and they've turned around and changed their mind. And they're 2 that I can think of off the top of my head, and I don't think there's been any others. Because I'm the subscriber to Xero, so I'm the one who has to push the button to say delete or whatever it is. So I really only remember doing it twice.
Okay, cool.
So there's been no resistance. It's been more positive, much more positive than any negative.
And what do you think the future is, Mark, as we wrap up with you, and thank you for your time, as far as MKS Harris, your firm, what does it look like in sort of 3 or 4 years in relation to this topic?
Oh, the topic overall, we're going to have probably the majority of our clients are going to be operating
are of a mood to change. We've had zero issues about making a change. In fact, we actually converted a client 18 months, 2 years ago, just before we started on the Xero journey, to Mile. We did that because we knew there was extensive amounts of external support. The team they had working in there certainly needed plenty of it. So as such, we went that way. As of next month, they'll actually be becoming a Xero client. They've had a look at it, see some huge advantages. They've had some changes in the staff, far more willing to actually adopt and look for better opportunities and relearn new bits of software out there. And for us, we're most excited about it. It's a client who we're doing increasing amounts of work for, and we can be a lot more Johnny on the spot and be aware about what they're doing. So that's someone who actually put into Mile. 2 years later, we're having the discussion, not a bit of pushback from the client to say, well, why didn't we go there 2 years ago? We're saying, well, this is the world that's available today. These are the benefits that are available. That's not a problem at all. Let's do it. And we're actually having to hose back the client saying, no, we want to hold this and do it at the end of the quarter for these sorts of reasons, and otherwise they're ready to go now. So in terms of changes, we've deleted most probably perhaps half a dozen clients, perhaps 10. Generally, because what's happened is it's part of a suite. We've got numbers of clients who have got multiple files. They've set up a file in anticipation of doing something. That just hasn't come about, so as such we've knocked it off. So we will set it up in anticipation, make sure the feeds are there so that we can actually get things up and running when we want. But for a couple of clients that just hasn't really eventuated and they decided not to go down that path. It just didn't work well for them. So that's where we're at with all of that.
Awesome. And similar question to Mark. What does the future look like? And actually, before we get to that, we've got a bunch of questions come through here. Mike, this is back to you in relation to tax, right? Where are we at with CCH Cloud Tax?
So we're committed to releasing that this year. We know it's 30th of June or 1st July, and it's going very well. So we missed last year, but so we've had another whole year. We've got a large team on it, and we've got firms using it. And so I have confidence in it. It'll be good.
Awesome. Thank you. And that answers about 5
and I'll show that. I'll show that at your roadshows.
Oh, good. Cool. So, Alan, my last question. What does your firm look like in relation to the next 3-5 years in relation to this topic? So give us a bit of a picture of what it looks like.
I'd expect to see the great majority of our clients using some sort of cloud solution. I'd expect to be dealing with clients significantly more on a electronic basis via the use of client portals where they will represent an electronic mailbox where we'll provide them with information, they'll provide us with information which will keep it secure and discreet. I'd expect to be regularly dealing with and basically having levels of contact with clients so that people will indicate the frequency of our relationship about how often we'll touch base. And I'd see an increasing level of involvement with us. What I do see as the challenge is that I don't think there's a free ride on this. I think there's a need for clients to get involved in this whole process and not just basically, as they've done in the past, give in the old days of giving check butts and bank statements and saying, you guys go and work it out. We do need clients to be more engaged on a more frequent basis so that we can actually get the benefits of this software. So I think it's going to be incumbent upon us to make sure we educate our clients on the software, educate them in terms of being respectful and timely in terms of the way in which they respond to our inquiries and do things proactively. So and I know and I've been in lots of your sessions, Rob, where there is an enormous amount of information and data in our accounts so long as we can talk about them on a timely basis. And that's the challenge. Not much point talking about cash flow and debtors and working capital being a problem with the 30th of June 13 accounts now, because guess what? The client's either broke or has already gone through it, has already fixed it up. We need to be talking about this on a weekly or a fortnightly after the end of the period when you can actually do something about it and start trying to hose down problems before they do become real problems. So I think it's very much a two-way street. I think, to be perfectly blunt, I think some of this is being sold as a panacea. I think it's a very much engagement, but it is a sense of change. It's an exciting time for everyone where there is some easy things to do. I run Xero myself personally. I've got multiple bank accounts. Every day I have a routine. I come in, reconcile my credit card transactions, reconcile my business transactions. I understand exactly what I've spent at the end of the year. I can have a look down and see what's happened to my income. It's sensational.
And Alan, I think that's a good point to end on, that it's all about, a two-way street for sure, but at the end of the day, it's all about you, the accountant, having access to real-time data. That's why we've built this app for you as well, to even take that up a notch and to do something about that. So thank you, everybody. It's been awesome. Great contribution. Lots and lots of questions on this one, which is fantastic. Apologise we didn't get to every single question. Just to reiterate, this seminar tour is happening. 14 cities around the country and New Zealand, of course. Don't miss our Kiwi friends. If you sign up by 5 p.m. tomorrow, $97 per person. Save yourself $100. Use the promo code FUTURE. So, Mike, Mark, and Alan, thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you, and really appreciate your insights. All the best, guys, and thank you, and good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.